Welcome back to Talking Flag. I'm Ambra.
And I'm Tika, and if you know us a little bit, you know we love this sport. But we also love the people shaping it. The innovators, the builders, the ones pushing flag football into the future.
And today's guest is exactly that, a founder who created a product and built an entire athlete first culture around it.
He's the mind behind the world's first protective headband made purely for flag football. The man who took virtual head impact simulations, yes, literal brain scan tech, and brought it to our fantastic sport. Please welcome the founder of Syzmik, Steve Arzoni.
Hello, that's quite an entrance. that's quite an introduction. I was like, who is this person? Okay, I'll take it.
Were you impressed? Because we are.
I want to meet that guy. That sounds impressive. I'm just Steve from Manchester, but that's okay.
Oh, no, you're very modest. Well, let's dive right in then, Steve. So,
Yeah.
something that really stands out about Seismic is how athlete focused it is. So you're not designing from a boardroom, you're designing from the field.
Yeah.
So where does the mindset come from and how does it shape your decisions as a founder?
So I think any company that wants to be successful has to be customer centric or end user centric, right? So for us, that's the athletes. When I don't know if you know the history of the company, but you can go online and search on that. But in 2020, we decided we had some great material, soft shell material science from winning the NFL Head Health Tech Challenge in 2018 to look at producing like a soft shell range of headgear. But honestly, we didn't know whether like flag football players wore headgear or whether 7-on-7 players liked what they were wearing. So we started to do some research. I think that's the first place any company should start from, right? And there's a different dynamic. You can build a product that you think is going to sell and then go and sell it to the people that you think are going to buy it. Or
Mhm.
you can involve the people who are going to buy it in the end and have them in the process and design something for them, which they will then buy. For me, that's a very different dynamic. Seismic is growing at an incredible pace. I think anyone in flag and even on 7-on-7 now, you can see that. But it's really about customers buying our products. We do very little marketing. If you look at our social media, we don't do tons of marketing. We spend very little. And that's because people are buying the product because it's athlete focused. And we did
Mhm.
our research and we built backwards. And I think that's a great place to at least start from.
Absolutely. So how do athlete conversations directly shape the products?
So in terms of, because we're on the flag podcast, right, talking flag, we'll do flag football because we did it with 7-on-7. We also did it with soccer as well. But for flag football, we just started interviewing athletes back in 2020, 2021, who were at a high level. Some national team players in the USA and some players who have been playing flag for a long time. And it was like, okay, well, virtually nobody's wearing protective headgear. So the first question was, do you feel a need for protective headgear in flag football? Have you had a concussion? Have you had a suspected concussion? Have you had a head impact that you're concerned about? And honestly, like out the gate, like I think we interviewed like 20 athletes to begin with on the first round of interviews, and I think every single athlete said they'd had a head impact. And one of the most prominent athletes who still works with us today, she told us she'd had 3 suspected concussions. The fourth one was a concussion, and it took her to hospital. And it was
Right.
like, okay, so why are you not wearing headgear? And by the way, that's Ashley Clam. She won't have any problems with me telling you that. She was one of the first people that we interviewed, and she was super young then. But like, why do you not wear headgear? And the answer across the board was pretty much, we would wear headgear in flag football if there was something that we would want to wear.
Mhm.
And back then, there's a few different options now, multi-sport options and some soccer headbands. But back then there were a few soccer headbands that were being worn by flag football players, and usually they were being worn by the players that had had a serious head impact and therefore wanting to put something on. But very limited options. So in answer to your question, it's like, okay, now we've established that players would wear a protective piece of headgear in flag football. But what would it look like? What would it feel like? And we work with the athletes, and I mean, the feedback basically was, it's got to be super cool. And like, okay,
Of course.
all right. Well, how do we accomplish that? And I was lucky enough to sit down and literally sketch the X7C, which which I can't believe we launched in June 2023, and in November we had purchases from 22 countries from the website. It's just insane. So
Oh,
like, yeah, the sketch happened. I sketched out the X7C and showed it to some of the athletes and kind of described that it would be constructed like a high-end running shoe with no stitching. It would look 10 years ahead of anything that's out there right now, which is typically kind of stitch and sew and textile based. And gave them this like idea, and they were like, "Well, if it's as cool as it sounds, we'd wear it." So it kind of went from there. And then honestly, we were lucky enough. I hired a guy called Chris Perra from Garmin. He took a huge leap from going from Garmin, where he had a ton of security, to this like startup, and I knew he could get the job done. So he managed to kind of bring into the marketplace exactly what I'd envisioned. And Rod Trafford, I think you've both met. Rod was with me at the time as well, and he was instrumental in the interviews and putting the products together and stuff. But Rod came; he's a heavyweight. 5 years in the NFL, played at South Carolina as an athlete. Then he was an early hire at Zenith. Then he was an early hire at Vices, and then he came to us. So we had the right research with the right idea for a product with the right team behind it, and I think that's probably the secret to the success so far.
absolutely. And you've been already talking about this enormous growth. I think you've even described it as meteoric.
It's,
um, I mean, if
it's
we look at
definitely
the
surpassed expectations. I mean, our investors are happy.
no,
I mean,
yes, yes, and if you look at the numbers, like you mentioned, I think 20 plus countries, tens of thousands of athletes right now, and I
yeah,
think even like 22 national teams or even more at this point. So it definitely matches that description.
yeah.
But yeah, for anyone watching from the outside, it probably looks like a dream run. But what has been the most grounding or like humbling part of that journey for you?
Humbling. Okay, so we pre-launched the X7C. We had an idea that we'd do white, grey, black. And I said to the guys, look, let's go with white and try and sell a few, and they're going to get noticed, right? So if you put white on the field, if you're 10, 100 meters away, you'll see a white headband. If you did it in black to start with or grey, maybe people wouldn't notice it. It looked like all the others that are out there from a distance at least. So anyway, June 23, we launched the white X7C, and we had a ton of orders come in, particularly from the New England area in the USA. And I went to a competition called We Run the World, ran by the Remo brothers, who are just amazing people. I guess the boys, they're just amazing. They have Flag Football Life, and that one of their main competitions is We Run the World. So I go to Philly, and it's called the Proving Grounds, where this tournament is. And I'm on this car park that overlooks the full field. And I think we'd sold probably like 250 white X7Cs at that point. So various teams were fully kitted out. And honestly, girls, I literally stood on the car park and I could just see a sea of white headbands. And I'm man enough to tell you, I literally got emotional and shed a tear. So when you talk about going from the research to a sketch to the production of something that we think is pretty special in terms of the way the X7C is actually manufactured. It's very complex and difficult to do. We overcame all of those things, and then you see it being worn by players. That was incredibly humbling, to be honest with you. And the white was a good call because you could see them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Imagine. And everything happened so quickly. So I can imagine how that was for you. Like it just exploded just like that.
yeah.
Um, so it kind of sounds like everything went pretty easily. Were there actually any challenges that you didn't really expect when building a brand in a niche sport?
So I think the biggest challenge would be the naysayers. So
Yeah.
basically, again, I know you two know this because we've known each other for a couple of years, but Syzmik has put investment into the product development, which is clear from what we've done with the X7C and the other products that we have. But we also put money into research into head impacts in flag football specifically to begin with. And if you go on our website and you look on the technology tab there, you'll see, and you mentioned it in your intro there, we were I think we did a world first, simulation to look at how head impacts at various, speeds affect brain strain. So it's very detailed. If you go on the website, you'll see. So we did all this research, and we knew what head protection can do in reducing the impacts that people have when they hit their head to ground or head to body in flag. So we know there's a benefit, but then there's a very small section of people, and sometimes these people are quite high up in terms of like bodies and these various places and national teams that will say that if you wear a protective headband, that you play more recklessly. And quite honestly, that was the biggest challenge that I think we faced. It was a very small number of people, but those people sometimes have a voice. And that can kind of, so basically we wanted to prove it wrong. So it's like, I know I was stood with Rod one time, and one of the national team coaches said exactly that. We think that players will play more recklessly if they wear protective headgear in flag. And Rod's answer was, hey, do you drive a car? And the guy said, yeah. And Rod said, do you wear a seatbelt? Yeah, of course I do. Do you drive more recklessly? And the guy's like, the coach is like, no, I don't actually. So this is what we did. So in one of the research projects we did, we looked at 17 games, and 10 of those games were IFAF international games, 5 men, 5 women, random teams. 7 of those games were from the NAIA college system in the States. And I want to isolate the 7 games from NAIA. And because none of those players were wearing headgear in the first round of research. So we looked at we did the research, and it was basically how many head impacts happen in a game, what is the activity that is going on to cause or to be part of the head impact, and how many players were involved. So we can find out, okay, look, this is how many head impacts happen. These are the activities that they tend to happen in, like jump ball or grabbing the flag, and how many players are involved in a typical collision, and we kind of map it all out. So we've done the initial part of the research for IFAF. And that's part of our relationship with the governing body, with the International Federation of American Football. But when we started to get people asking us and telling us, like, there's this idea of risk compensation, you put any kind of safety equipment on and you do something more recklessly. What we did then is we said, okay, we're going to go back, because by this time, the NAIA teams that we looked at were mostly wearing Syzmik headgear, right? So now we go back, it's a different season. And we look at the same 7 games, basically, and guess what? 41% less head impacts during those games. And again, that research has been given to IFAF, and I think it's on our website and stuff if you dig deep. We don't publicize this, but it's there. So in that particular set of data, we actually prove that there's a lack of risk compensation. In fact, when someone puts a protective piece of headgear on their head, they become more aware of their head position. So again, you asked a similar question, what was the biggest challenge? I think that was the biggest challenge. But then what we did is we put some dollars into it. We did research with someone who wasn't on our team. That was very, that was well known from the NFL and so on. And they produced that data to say, hey, there's a lack of risk compensation. So yeah, there you go.
It's fantastic how determined you were to actually show them, demonstrate that they are helpful. They are there to reduce the number of concussions. So I'm glad that you've done it, because it's so important for us as athletes that you make that statement. We can't do that ourselves. So to have somebody to a bit higher, well, in a different position to
Yeah.
really drive that. I think it's really important to have that representative. So thank you so
And, and
much for that.
And,
Yeah.
and honestly, that could have shot us in the foot because the guy that we use for research is he's really well known. He's like he'll do research. He puts his paper out there. He's a PhD, and it could have gone the other way for us, right? We put them. We said we'd pay for the research. He did his research. It's always you sign it to say, hey, whatever he comes up with, it's on him. He puts the
Yeah.
white paper out, yeah, and he doesn't talk to us about it. So yeah, honestly, it could have gone the other way. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of pleased it didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, you were right. People go crazy with headgear. Oh my God, we might as well
Yeah.
go home.
No, that's really interesting to hear, like how much work you put in it to demonstrate the value of it. Now,
Yeah.
we're just wondering what's one lesson building Syzmik has taught you that you would have never learned running like a typical company?
Flag is really interesting. So I've had in the last 6 months, I've had 3 brands within the sports field, and I'm talking huge brands in America, like huge. Ask us or ask me. I've been in meetings with them, asking me how we've developed this really a good following on social media.
Hmm.
And what they've noticed, and we obviously notice it too, is we have a lot of user generated content on our Instagram. Our
Yeah.
Instagram's not huge. It's got like 9,500 followers or whatever it is today. It's not huge, but it's very organic and very authentic.
Yes.
And the athletes buy our product and then they will post themselves in it, create a reel or a post, and then come back to us and say, hey, can we collaborate or would they tag us?
Hmm.
And what those brands have noticed is it's not something that happens to them. And that's not because we're so amazing. That's partly because flag football, I think you mentioned it in the intro, but I think the flag football and the athletes in flag really appreciate the companies who are backing it, supporting it, pushing it forward, trying to make it better. And we're seeing a lot of love, honestly. So I think flag has given us that. The athletes know that we're there for them. They know that we've built a really solid product. They know that we're continuing to innovate. They know that we are partnered with IFAF and some other companies, other brands as well. And they kind of trust us, I hope. But I think that's what is unique to what I've experienced with Syzmik. Because I've been around a while now, and been around lots of different companies. And what we have right now with Syzmik and the audience and the customer base and the athletes around the world, honestly, is quite unique. I'm kind of every day I'm flabbergasted by it. Honestly, it's really nice. A lot of love.
And it's pretty interesting because obviously we follow Syzmik, we collaborate with Syzmik as athletes because we are also Syzmik ambassadors. And it's just interesting to see, like I've noticed, all these athletes, they use this collaboration option on Instagram, and you just get so much content, like without even, doing much for it. So
Yeah,
get lots of engagement, and like nowadays it's more about the engagement rather than the followers. So you might not have like this huge amount of followers yet, but the engagement
agreed,
is huge. I mean,
agreed.
it spreads so much all over the world, and
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great product because it protects, but it's also swaggy. And in the flag football world, it's all about being swaggy and wearing all this
yeah.
cool gear. So people love to show that off and then tag you, create these reels and posts. And it's it's nice because you guys are also open to do these collabs, even with non-ambassadors, just people who like to wear the brand. So it's really nice, and it's smart how you guys are working.
I
Yeah.
think it's well. Look, if a 9-year-old flag player has bought an X7C, and honestly, quite a few buy the white and the black together. So they usually have like sometimes they'll have both, and they do a post, and they've got 300 followers, and it's just their school friends. We want to show that athlete some love. Why
Yeah.
not? Literally, why not? And I think the brands that I'm talking about, that was one of the things I said to them. I said, well, how many times do you get an athlete that isn't a big name, that's not going to move the needle for you sales wise, say, hey, would you collaborate? Guys, I just love your gear, and it's like, yeah, we never do that. Well, there you go. Maybe
There
start,
you go.
you know.
And it's that it's all natural. I think that's also why it's authentic. I think that's the right word. So it's not those forced collaborations where people, where brands go, you have to post twice a week, you have to
Right.
post something. It's just, no, they do it themselves, the athletes. You're not asking for it, they just do
Yeah.
it. And I think that's why
Yeah.
it's so special and so different. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's lovely to know. And yeah, and again, we're fortunate to be in the spot we're in. With that said, I think we put some good products out, and we put some good love out. So yeah, it's great. It's good.
Fantastic.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, so Steve, you've built an ambassador team full of world champions, national team athletes, and it's not just anyone because we know you actually turn applicants away. So
That's really tough, by the way. That's so
I
difficult
mean,
to do.
I
But
mean, it's
anyway,
normal. I mean, not everyone can just be an ambassador, but
right.
you still collaborate with them, so you're still helping them to
Yeah.
be seen. So I think it's normal, right? Like that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, with ambassador programs, it's always like that. It's not just, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone
I
gets
think with
in.
the ambassador program as well, we tried to make that as authentic as possible. So like we'll get DMs and messages and emails saying, "Hey, I've achieved this and this and this. I want to be an ambassador." And quite honestly, a lot of the times I deal with them myself. I do the DM or I do the email. I love dealing with the ambassadors. But the first question is, "Hey, do you wear Syzmik headgear or do you wear any headgear at all?" And if
Mhm.
they say no, it's like, well, we'll send you, if you're interested, we'll send you an X7C if you're a national player or whatever.
Mhm.
Wear it for a month, wear it for 2 months. Let us know if you love it. If you love it,
Mhm.
then it would come and talk to us.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, it's athletes who have achieved some success, have worn Seismic during the journey for the last couple of years, and then say, "Hey, I'd love to be an ambassador." And they're the ones that we really bring on board because that's when it's authentic. We're not like, I mean, we've had this conversation before. I'm certainly not going to just start paying an athlete to wear a product. Do they want to wear it? Do they love it? Are they going to talk about us to other people? Is it authentic? Is it honest?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important to me. It's like it's got to be authentic, and it's got to be this. They're wearing it for the right reasons. And
Mhm.
the national team athletes that we have as ambassadors, we call them the elite ambassadors now. They're role models because like head impacts happen in flag football. They're not supposed to. We don't want them to. But in the moment of competition, things happen.
Mhm.
So the ones who wear the headbands are really a role model to the younger players coming through, who will be the people in Brisbane 32, and then the next Olympics after that, hopefully, and so on. So yeah,
Yeah.
for all those reasons, it's really important. It's authentic.
Yeah. So, is there something that these athletes have taught you? Maybe something that changed your perspective on performance, or on safety, or even the sport itself?
Um, Good question. Let me think. I think what we, I guess, are you asking what we learned from the athletes? Is that a fair?
Yeah, especially from the brand ambassadors, let's say.
Yeah, what we learned from them is we're constantly wanting to improve the product. So it's no secret, that the X7C, we put a few $1 million, well, more than two or $3 million, something like it was something crazy, like $2-3 million, whatever it was. I think it was $3 million. So it took us a lot. The research, the processing, would it hold up? Would it get a 5-star rating? We wanted it to be as slim as possible, still get a 5-star rating. So, all these different things, not to hold sweat, be super light, blah, blah, blah. So, but we're keen to do the next thing. We're not gonna, even though the X7C's been out, for 2 years, I can tell you now, we've got new technology that's going to take it another 5 to 10 years down the line. That's going to be coming out really, really soon. So
Okay.
like we've already invested in the next product for flag football, and what's enabled us to do that is exactly that question. It's continuously learning from the people who wear it, and the ambassadors are absolute key to knowing what we can do better next time round. There
Mhm.
are a few different ways that we believe we could improve the X7C. It would take more investment, it would take more testing, and so on and so on. Like any product, you continue to strive. But the ambassador team has been completely instrumental in giving us the feedback from being on the field in competition in ways that we can continue to improve.
And when someone puts on that seismic headband, what do you want it to represent beyond safety?
I want it to represent the fact that person is looking after themselves. And what I mean by that is they believe they believe there's a chance they're going to get a head impact in flag football, and if they do, it's better to have some protection on their head. I think that's the biggest thing. I also want them to feel really cool as well. I used to play basketball at school, and I got okay at it. I got pretty good at it, and I remember I kind of saved up for some Nike Air Force One. And prior to that, I'd had some really rubbish basketball boots. But I'll tell you something, I wanted the Air Force Ones back in the day, and I put them on, and I remember the first training session, I felt like I could literally like play at a different level. And that was just down to swag. That was down to, hey, we're in Manchester, and like everyone's got like rubbish gear on. And I managed to stay up and get these basketball boots, and it made me feel amazing, and it was swaggy. So look, protection first, 100%. It's got to be 5-star rated and all these things, and all these performance features. It doesn't hold sweat and all this. But once that's happened, I want the athletes to put this thing on and think, I look good and I feel good and I'm going to play good.
Absolutely, and that's what it is. When you look good, you play good. That's what they say, right? It's all about the confidence.
It is, and it is true. I mean, if you feel good, you look great, you have the gear on that you love,
Yeah.
you just feel better and you just play better. It's a fact. I mean,
I'll tell you something honestly. I mean, I might be showing too much. I don't know, but so we're really interested on the buying reasons in different regions, right? So we know the reason. We know the main reason people buy the X17 flag in the United States. And the main reason is protection. It's very closely followed by swag, to be perfectly honest. So
absolutely.
I mean, that they are literally the reasons. They're very close. But in certain countries around the world, we did some research in South America, and it was off the chart swag. It was like,
I figured.
if I wear this thing, it means I'm like a player. I'm like, whoa, it should be the other way. It's not the point. We'll take it, obviously. That's great, but so it's also interesting. Like in different cultures, different parts of the world, there's literally different reasons to buy the product.
Yeah.
And again, it enables us to work to that strength as well.
Yeah, to be able to meet all those needs.
Yeah,
And I think you did, because it is a cool product and it's safe. So there you
It's
go,
pretty
2 in 1.
It's pretty cool.
So let's make this really clear for our listeners then. The X7C is the only protective headband designed purely for flag football?
Unless we've missed something, we've got some competitors, and they're typically they were typically designed for either multi-sport or soccer, and then transitioned into flag. So, but I'm very confident in saying, I might get some hates for this, I don't know, but like I'm confident in saying, like, we're the ones. Syzmik steps up. We did the research with flag players. We built something specifically for flag football. It's
Yeah.
that simple. So the answer, I think, the short answer is yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so very important. You also have a multi-year technical partnership with IFAF that
Yeah,
extends beyond LA 2028.
it does.
So, what does that partnership mean for the future of flag football and for athlete safety at the highest level?
So IFAF are really interested in researching head impacts, and they knew what we were doing in the research part was completely, again, authentic. It was done in the right way, using the right people, and they IFAF are really interested, obviously, in making sure player safety is at the forefront of what they're doing, and how they, and determining how they navigate protective headgear in flag football. So our relationship with IFAF is really about the research. And secondary, I hope they believe in our product. We've put our product on over 20 national teams at this point, through the relationship with IFAF, where we are able to offer the headgear to the national teams as part of that partnership. So, but how will it? You're asking how it will shape. I honestly don't really know the answer to that question. I mean, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, will protective headgear in flag football become mandated at the highest levels? And honestly, I don't know. And I'm not too concerned. I guess my answer to that question would be, what we're experiencing, at least as a brand, is this is a customer, coach, parent-driven marketplace.
Mhm.
Does it really matter if we get mandation I'm not so sure because it's driven. Look, you two play and you both wear the headband and stuff. So it's like, you know what happens. So what we tend to see is something happens to an athlete, or an athlete sees something happen to their friend head impact wise, and they buy a headband if they don't have one already. The parents are watching, same thing. The parents come and buy a headband. The coach in the team sees enough head impacts. They come to us and say, we want to mandate or, put headgear on everyone.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is I'm not too sure. We didn't have to get mandation from the top down. It's kind of happening, honestly.
Mhm.
It's the athletes, the coach, the parents are just driving this marketplace.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it will be super interesting to see where it goes as we continue to progress. But the answer is to the question is I'm not sure what it
Mhm.
looks like a few years down the line. But that's the biggest question I get asked is will there be headgear in the Olympics? Will it be mandated by then? Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised because, I feel like flag football obviously is a non-contact sport, but
Yeah.
it's getting way more physical each time, So why not? Like, why not make it mandatory?
Well, I mean, look, we do all the research. We know what happens. We don't use it in our marketing. We're not out to scare
Mhm.
people. That is not what it's about. People are
Mhm.
buying the headgear anyway. But I'll tell you something. I was in Paris with you girls. I was in Paris a few weeks ago at the IFAF European Championships, and I was on the sideline, and I think it was the men's French team versus the men's Swedish team, and I'm stood on the sidelines, and most of the players had the X7Cs on, which is great. So I'm stood there, and somebody came along, and they started asking me about risk compensation. So the whole thing about, oh, I see people in the headband, do you think they play more recklessly? So I was chatting to this guy, and so I'm like maybe 6'2", 215 or 16 pounds. And so I'm stood there, and a lot of the French guys are bigger than me. 100%, 6'3", 6'4". A lot of the Swedish guys are bigger than me also. Right? So I'm talking to this guy, and as I'm talking, one of the French players is one of the receivers is running. He becomes airborne, and as he jumps for the ball to catch the ball, he's probably 2, 3 foot off the ground, whatever it is, having ran at 18, 15 or 18 miles an hour, whatever he's ran at before he then leaps to catch the ball. He's got two defenders from Sweden going up with him. So I'm talking to this guy, and we're both watching this play. And the play happened, they fell, and all the rest of it. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, just picture this for a moment. When those three players were all traveling at 15 to 18 miles an hour for that like few seconds, and they launched themselves and they were 3 feet off the ground. He's like, yeah. I said, just take a snapshot. Bang. The three of them off the ground, 45-degree angle to catch the ball. And then put headgear on and shoulder pads and make it an NFL shot. Because what happens from that point forward, from that freeze frame, is exactly the same as what can happen in a full contact game. You're
Mhm.
going to fall in a certain way. You're going to
Yeah.
hit a certain body part with another player. Your head might go to the ground. Your shoulders might go to the ground, and so on and so on. And it honestly, he kind of said, "Yeah." It just dawned on him. I'm like, if you just freeze frame that, that could
Mhm.
be that could be an NFL, poster shot. Like,
Very
and
interesting.
what happens next is going to be exactly the same, whether they've got protective gear on or not. It'll be the same, hitting the ground
Mhm.
in the same way, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's an interesting thought.
That's a good point.
Very, very interesting. And then just to go back to the discussion around are they going to be mandatory or not? Doesn't sound like it's going to really massively impact you guys. Like people are
No,
wearing it anyway, so
exactly.
whatever happens, happens, right?
We just want to put the best products out. We want athletes to have a choice,
Yeah,
and we hope that if they decide to wear protective headgear, that they will choose Syzmik because of everything that we put into the product and all the rest of it. But yeah,
yeah.
you're right. I don't think it matters that much, honestly. I
Mhm.
think it's more about, I guess I got to be careful what I say, but it's. I know there are in the United States, as an example. I keep referring like I'm not in the States. I'm actually at my home in England right now, so like that's why I'm saying United States. I feel away from it right now. I'm actually at
Yeah.
home in England. So we do have leagues coming to us who say they just want to mandate headgear, and part of the reason for that is they just want to make sure, like, if anything happens in a few years' time, and they can say, hey, we either gave an option for headgear to players, we made them aware that we recommend headgear, or we mandated it. So I think there's a lot of leagues kind of getting ahead of what they think might happen in a few years' time. You know, if someone knocks on the door and says, hey, you know, did you have a flag player, you know, have a concussion between like 2020 and 2025 or something like that? And, you know, so they want to cover themselves. So whether that would be a reason for mandation more than anything, I just don't know. But, you know, there's lots of factors. It isn't just about, you know, it's governing bodies and all the rest of it coming together, believing what's right or what isn't. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Absolutely, we'll see. Okay, all right, Steve. So it's rapid fire time. Okay, so
I told you I hate rapid fire because I'm so indecisive. I'm okay in business. I can make a decision really quickly in business. If these are like really simple, what's your favorite color, red or blue? I'm going to go red. But I mean, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not good at this.
No
honestly,
stress.
fine. There's no pass or fail. It's just a little bit of fun, Steve. Okay.
I can do fun. I can do fun. Let's do this.
So no
Okay.
thinking, just instinct. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You
Okay.
guys are so dramatic. Go on.
Hey, it gave you 5 more seconds to think, okay?
That's true. He's trying to get away from this, isn't he?
He is. Okay, let's go. Question number 1. What has been your most unexpected source of design inspiration?
The iPhone.
Interesting. I kind of want to know why.
Yeah, me too. Just a little explanation, please.
I'm a big fan of Apple.
Yeah.
I love how understated they are. I love how the product speaks for themselves. I love how they've got a very loyal base. Like, I'm a loyal customer of Apple. So, and what that all comes back to is the design. I remember putting the first iPhone in my hand. It was the very first iPhone, showing that age now, in 2000, whenever it was, 4 or 5 or 6, and thinking this is different to my BlackBerry by a long, long way. And it just felt good. So yeah, it all starts with design. So honestly, what we've tried to achieve with Syzmik is that level of premium quality, low key as well, the whole thing. So yeah, does that answer it?
Hey,
Absolutely
you're doing
fine.
a very good job. You know
This
that?
is it. This is what we want. This is it.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. The first word or thing that comes to your mind when you hear innovation.
Product.
Cool.
Fair enough. Okay, 3. A coffee-fueled brainstorm or quiet reflection, which brings your best ideas?
I am very coffee fueled at all times.
Okay, that's easy, right?
I'm lucky enough to bought an absolute mega coffee machine, so I'm obsessed. I have like 6 ristrettos a day, so I'm constantly wired. But yeah.
Nespresso?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's a little bit more it gets you more wired than an espresso. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, number 4. A sport outside of flag football that secretly influences how you think about design. If there is any.
Yeah, that's tough because I think we've really done something very different. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
No,
I
that's
hate
fine.
to say I don't know. I don't want to make something up because, like,
Right.
we try to do something. The influence has been from outside of sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, including high-end fashion. To be perfectly honest about it, whether it's an amazing sleek car, whether it's you know, my coffee machine, or whether it's, you know, a designer product or something, which I don't really buy much of, honestly. But I appreciate you know, how discreet things are, how well packaged they are, and so on. So yeah, probably outside of sport.
Fine.
Perfect. Okay, what is the boldest decision you've made at Syzmik?
To launch with one color of headband.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
And not give an option. That was like, seriously, that was,
Yeah.
I kind of got crucified for that. It's like it's like going back to Henry Ford, when you can have any color as long as it's black. It was like, you can have any color as long as it's white. I mean, honestly, but it turned out to be a good decision. So that was, yeah, that's the answer. Launch with one color. Crazy.
If Syzmik could collaborate with any sports brand on earth, who would it be?
Ooh.
Wow, this is very topical.
Oops.
Mm.
Think
Okay,
about who
so
might
I
hear
can't.
this.
I literally can't tell you
Okay, that's fair.
because we have an announcement soon.
Okay,
Ask
okay.
me. Ask, and that's a huge yeah. So ask me if I could collaborate with a brand outside of sport. That could be cool.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead. Yes. Any
Well,
fashion brand or?
okay, my instinct. So Giorgio Armani has just died. Obviously,
Yeah.
it would have been Giorgio Armani because I love everything that he's ever done, literally.
Yeah.
But why not go a bit brash? I'd like to see a X7C with the Gucci print on it. What's not to like about that?
Ooh,
Let's do
Oh
that.
my
let's
God. That
do
is
it.
Right? Imagine the pads with the Gucci G's on it and stuff. What's not to like?
Ooh.
wild
Mm.
idea. Please write it down, Steve.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know.
Anyone?
You're the ones with the influence. You pass this on to Gucci. Listen, we want to see a Gucci X7C ASAP.
Okay. In the
Let's see
next
what we can
feedback
do.
form, that's something I'm gonna
And
write down.
and listen, as you know, our ancestry is all Italian on the call today. We should stick with the Italian brands, right?
Yes,
No
There
brainer.
you go.
absolutely.
No brainer. Okay, we're almost there. You're doing really well.
Thank
One
you.
thing.
I thought you said it wasn't a pass or fail.
It wasn't.
Okay, go.
Okay. One thing people misunderstand about athlete safety.
You may have said this already, but that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think they misunderstand that stuff happens when it shouldn't happen and is not expected to happen, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking flags of non-contact. Obviously, it's supposed to be non-contact. We want it to be non-contact. Is it
Yeah.
really non-contact? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Misconception. Yes.
Yeah. Good answer. Okay, number 8, nearly there. What's one thing you always pay attention to when watching athletes play?
The person who's not got the ball,
Hmm.
Hmm.
or should I say, the people who haven't got the ball. I like to watch the movement away from the action. Where I mean, that's when you really get to know if someone understands the game and the positioning and where they need to be to support the person on the ball. So yeah, I really love watching the players who are not in the thick of it and what they're doing and what decisions they're making to kind of shape, where that play goes.
That's
Hmm.
nice. Like kind of
Like
trying to
that.
gauge in their football IQ, what they're doing,
Yeah,
how they're reacting on the play. That's nice. I like that.
yeah.
Okay, most exciting part of 2026. One word only.
Collaborations.
Yes, I thought about that one too. I
we,
did.
we
I did.
we've got a lot of cool stuff coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
So it's going to be so exciting. Yeah,
Hmm,
looking
I
forward
cannot
to
wait. Yeah.
it.
Okay, and finally, describe Seismic in 3 words.
Innovative, premium, exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting slash swaggy. Yeah.
I was gonna say swaggy, but like, I'm a guy of a certain age. It's exciting. I
What do you mean?
You can't use that word.
don't know. I mean, yeah,
You're the
maybe I
owner of
can.
Seismic. You can use that word.
I think I'll go. I will go with swaggy. I'm gonna delete that and go with swaggy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
innovation, premium, and swag factor. Oh, that's 2 words. Swag.
Swag factor. Yeah, yes, slash factor. That's fine. That's one word. Awesome. Steve, this has been such a great conversation. We really appreciate you sharing the vision and the innovation behind Seismic. So, could you please tell our listeners where they can find Seismic on social media?
On social media, it's at Syzmik Headgear, and our website is seismicsports.com.
Perfect. And for everyone listening, if you want to learn more about their virtual simulations, the X7C headband, excuse me,
Yep,
or the ambassador program, check
yep.
out Seismic on social media and their website.
Yeah, so seismicsports.com has everything there. There's a technology tab, and then we've got some stuff on the YouTube channel. But honestly, have a look at that. It is kind of mind blowing what we've been able to achieve with virtual simulations. So have a look. It's crazy. It's very good. Cool. Swaggy.
Swaggy.
Swaggy. Yes. So to our Talking Flag community, keep supporting the brands, pushing our sports forward. I mean, growth comes from innovation, and Syzmik is definitely leading the way.
Yes, and make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Talking Flag, IG, YouTube, Spotify, all of it. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep chasing those flags. Thank you so much, Steve. It was great to
Take
have
care.
you.
Love you
Thank you,
guys.
Steve.
We'll
It
see you
was
soon.
lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so
Take care.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.